That's ridiculous. George Springer, keep Shohei Ohtani's name out of your mouth. Don't tattletale. Don't snitch like he did. And look, I hate to use...
Springer with very, very, very strong numbers against Shohei Ohtani. He and the Blue Jays would love that to continue here today.
And for Ohtani, last season he made just 14 starts coming back from injury, but it was an ERA under 3. We know what he does with the bat, 55 homers and 102 RBIs. It was his 4th MVP award and his 3rd in a row.
So one of the interesting things, and you talked about it, Ohtani was on base when the inning ended. Now he's the pitcher. And this is moments ago. This is George Springer going to Dan Bellino, the home plate umpire and the crew chief. And I'll bet you a toonie that they're talking about, hey, how much time is Ohtani going to get? And we saw this in the World Series. And again, there are kind of a, I don't even want to say an unwritten set of rules, but he is the only guy who is in this position right now, both hitting and pitching. Of course, in the National League for over a century, and in the American League for many, many years until they changed the rules, pitchers did hit, but he is the only guy who hits and pitches. And sometimes other teams get aggravated that he gets too much time, and sometimes Dave Roberts gets aggravated that the other team gets aggravated.
I think that's exactly what the shake of the head is right there. He just, I think from Dave Roberts' perspective, he's saying, wait a minute, Major League Baseball has made an Ohtani rule for him being able to pitch, DH, do all that, while you have to give him time in between innings. Now, I'm not sure what the rule has to be, but you would think this should be ironed out by now across baseball. But Dave Roberts looks livid right now.
I don't know who Roberts might have been waving at. It might have been John Schneider just saying, hey, everything's good on our side. But you can see Dave Roberts, who generally has a very wonderful positive disposition, that he is annoyed right now that somebody asked a question about how much time Ohtani was getting. To me, it's just one of those it is what it is kind of things. He's a unicorn. It's a separate thing. What are you going to do about it? And
exceptions.
And we have a challenge on the first pitch of the bottom of the first.
Gives to the media, gives to his teammates, and the guy has a great heart. Period, end of story. And I'm hearing from Miguel Rojas, someone that I've gotten a chance to know last couple of seasons, and it's really cool to have conversations with these guys when it's not on an interview for the show, when it's not in the clubhouse with a camera in front of their face, to just really talk to them when their guard's down, and you really get to know these guys. And the ones that are a little more open, like Miguel Rojas, they're just awesome people for this game, and I couldn't think of anyone better to represent this franchise. And Dave Vassay asked Shohei Ohtani about the hats and the fact that the Dodgers players had Miguel Rojas MR on their hats today. He said MR on the hats, and that was to commemorate Miguel Rojas and his father. So it just shows this team such a family, such a brotherhood, and the fact that they're just so united and there for each other, it really says a lot. You had the Alex Vesia tragedy last year, and they now are going through this. And, yeah, I mean, this is a very, very close group, and I think that's this team's ultimate secret, aside from just being incredibly talented and well-prepared, is they really play for each other. They love each other, and I think today was another example of that. So, yeah, definitely thinking about Miguel Rojas today. And getting back to the action of this game with the Dodgers, they lose today. I think the other part of this is the Will Smith glove situation. Like, what exactly happened there with the glove? Did that impact the pass ball that led to the unearned run against Shohei Ohtani? Well, let's hear from Will Smith. He talked to reporters just a couple minutes ago in Toronto.
When it came to Shohei Ohtani today, he was saying that he did feel like he was grinding, just kind of on the mound. What were you seeing from him, especially just kind of how the stuff was playing and how he had to kind of work through those at-bats?
Yeah, I thought he pitched well. I think it was more just grinding through his command. He was kind of all over the place early. He kind of settled in later in those later innings. Yeah, stuff looked good. It's just kind of the command today, which happens. I thought he did a good job competing and, limiting him to one run.
Did it feel like just as you were kind of, even with him, the bullpen, that in general this game kind of just felt like a grind when it came to the pitching staff?
Yeah, I mean, they're a good team. We kind of put it to them the last 2 days, but they're a good team. They put together good at-bats. Their pitchers were throwing the ball well today, kept them in it, and, yeah.
When you have a situation with runners on the corner, like in the eighth, like kind of what's the read on those plays, and was that kind of, you look back on like the right decision, just kind of the wrong result there?
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it all the time. That play is called from the dugout. We thought he could get an out right there. I've been big out in that situation, obviously. Yeah, a little bit of throw would have got him.
With the ABS challenge early, did you think Shohei was going for it on the mound, or was that one?
Yeah, okay. It was a high target, then he pulled the heater down. I thought it was there. Yeah.
Not seem to have his usual command today.
What's that?
Dryer when he came in.
Yeah. They hit a couple sliders. Just couldn't get it down. Was leaving it up. Yeah, I expect bounce back at him from him next time.
Just knowing what Miggy was going through today, what was it like to see him pushing to be in there?
Yeah, that's cool. Obviously, it's there's nothing worse than losing a family member like that. So he's going through emotions. He's going through the process of recovery and all that, and healing and processing that. So we're here for him. He seemed all right today. It's always good to have him out there on the field.
I can't believe that nobody asked him about the glove. Why? Come on. The glove that led to the pass ball, that led to a run. It's okay. Fine. Guess we have to do everything, right? But he was asked about the play in the 8th inning where they went for the runner when they tried to get Jimenez. And look, the truth is you can't play prevent defense. You can't play not to lose. I think in that situation, it was the right call. They just didn't execute it perfectly. But there was an opportunity for an out there, so I'm not mad at it. But let's hear from Dave Roberts, because Dave Roberts, he touched on something that I want to get into, and that is George Springer and his annoyance that Shohei Otani was getting additional time to warm up in between innings. Here was Dave Roberts on today's loss and George Springer having a little you-know-what fit about Shohei Otani getting some more time.
He's the pitcher for over a century in the American
there was a
League
little
for
bit
many,
of
many years.
miscommunication or conversation about the amount of time that Shohei is getting in between innings. I know we saw something like this during the World Series here, but it seemed like Springer was asking the umpire, like, how much time is he getting? He seemed a little bit frustrated. What was the dynamic there?
You know what? I think just talking about the World Series, obviously they were a little frustrated about, how long Shohei takes, in between innings. But if he's on the bases, there's got to be some grace, which I think the umpires are trying to give him. But yeah, I mean, if you're on the other side, you're trying to rush him as much as possible and treat him like any other pitcher. But the truth is that he's different, and so. But I understand their gripe.
So you heard him right there, and George Springer was all in his feelings because Shohei Otani was getting some more time to warm up. And I think it's pretty funny. That, so George Springer is okay with teams cheating to win the World Series. George Springer is okay with teams banging trash cans to steal signs that led to them stealing a World Series. He's okay with all that, but he's not okay with a one-of-one player in Shohei Otani just getting a little extra time to warm up. Cry harder. Argue with a wall. I mean, you're talking about rules. So if there's one player in this league that should not be trying to get rules enforced, it should not be George Springer. It just shouldn't. Let's be honest. It just should not be George Springer. That's ridiculous. That is like Barry Bonds trying to get players tested for steroids, okay? Let's be honest. That's ridiculous. George Springer, keep Shohei Ohtani's name out of your mouth. Don't tattletale. Don't snitch like he did. And look, I hate to use the word hate because I'm not going to do that, right? But I strongly, from a player standpoint, not like, okay, if I see this guy down the street, like in a real situation, I'm not going to be like this. But as far as like this sports world that we've created, like George Springer is right at the top of guys that I can't stand because, one, he never got a really adequate apology. I mean, no one benefited as much as he did from the Astros cheating. He's the 2017 World Series MVP in that trash can baking situation. And yeah, I mean, just snitching right there. I hated it. I hate it. And I'll get your thoughts on that. So George Springer, the last person on earth that should be trying to get baseball players to follow rules. Oh, you mean the guy that cheated to win the World Series is trying to call out someone that's not cheating, that's just getting some extra time? Oh, look. Oh, Shohei Ohtani. Give him a break. He's the only guy in the world that does this. Okay, if he needs some extra time, he gets some extra time. All right? Guess what? Superstars are not created equally. They're not treated equally, and they shouldn't be. Shohei does deserve preferential treatment. But let's hear what you guys have to say. Give me your big takeaways. Give me your thoughts on George Springer. That's coming up next on the 7th Inning Stretch.